Alright, and welcome back to season 6 of our show, and today it's turkey wings. We're cooking them up in a beautiful, rich southern gravy along with 3 fabulous sides. Let's show you how to get this one done. So the first thing we want to do is start seasoning up our wings. So let's give it a bowl. Now, I salted these wings overnight. These are off of a no bigger than 13-pound bird. And this is the way I like to go with my turkey wings. I don't want to go any bigger than 13 pounds because they become tough. And you don't want tough turkey wings because basically it's an old buzzard. And you don't want to deal with that. You'll have to cook them longer and the flavor is just not there when you go to a bigger turkey. So into the basket they go. Now the only thing I'm seasoning these up with is paprika and onion powder and pepper, black pepper. That's what we're going in with because we're going to build some more flavors as we go along. But the first thing we need to do is make a stock because we're making a stuffing. And these turkey wings are going to share the stock in common with the stuffing. And what the stuffing and the gravy are both going to have in common is they're sharing the stock from this, which is always a great thing. You don't have to worry about making a stock because you're making it right now. So I'm going to be using my pressure cooker today as I normally do. I like pressure cookers because they cut down on time. You're not going to be stuck boiling these things up for over 2 hours, almost 3 hours to get turkey wings really tender and right. And with the pressure cooker, it brings in a lot of flavor. It keeps that flavor inside the wings. And you're not boiling out all your flavor inside the water. So we'll just get these mixed up here. And then we're going to bring in our pressure cooker and put them in there. We'll show you how to get that done. And then we're going to meet you guys right back here. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. So our turkey wings are seasoned and they're inside the pressure cooker. Now we're going to show you how to build maximum flavor. So this way we have an outstanding broth. So I've got a few onions here. I'm just going to start to cut up a few onions. It might look like a lot of onions, but it's really not. Because they're going to make a beautiful broth along with that turkey. We're also making a stuffing to go along with this, so we need a good broth. A lot of stuffings have onions in them, and that's what we're doing. So just judge it out, make it yours, and put as much or as little onion in there as you like. So I'm going to go with an abundance of onions. To me, that's the secret of a great gravy. Alright, so we have some sage here. And I'm going to take a couple of the whole sages and I'm going to drop them right in. And here's our garlic. So I'm just going in with about 15 cloves and we're going to drop those in. So here's our sage and there's our garlic. So I'm going to start dropping some water in here. I want to go halfway up. See, normally if I wasn't making a stock, I use less water. So I want a good stock in here because I'm going to use an abundance of stock. I'm going to need it to make the gravy. And I'm also going to need it inside our stuffing. So we're going in with a lot of that water. And that's it. We're going to lock this down 45 minutes. We'll meet you back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, pressure cooker is over there and it's cooking away. And right now we're showing you a beautiful, spicy corn on the cob. So here's our corn on the cob. And we cleaned it and pulled out all the corn hairs that were on here. And we pulled all the husks back and exposed the corn. So we're going to put this off to the side for now. Here's a mortar. I got an onion here. We're going to chop a little piece of onion. So I'm just going to slice very thin slices of the onion. Just like that. I'm going to get them inside my mortar and pestle. I'm going to save the outside layer. Here's some garlic. So what I'll do with the garlic is I'm going to pre-smash it. Just like that. I'm going to get it inside here. Sage, and get that in there. Here's a jalapeno. Like I said, we're going spicy. So I'm going to just get a pre-chop on this. just like that. Don't forget, the closer you go up and get the seed, the hotter it gets. So I'm going to start with just the end of it, a little bit like that. And now I'm going to go in with a little extra virgin olive oil, just a little bit to get it going. And now I'm just going to crush this up. And the reason why you're using the mortar is so you can get it out of here and make a nice little sauce for this to go over top. So this is going to take a minute to crush up, and when I get it all nice and mortared up, I'm going to meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so we got our nice sauce here all mortared up. I'm going to hit this with a touch of salt. And now I'm going to bring in a little brush. So here's our corn, we pushed it back. And now I'm just going to brush this onto the corn. And if you really want to make it go faster, you can just dump it on there. Go like that. So you get everything in there. Now there's some olive oil in here, we added to it. A little bit more at the end. Put the olive oil. You see how everything is just not broke up completely? Alright, so now we got that. I'm going to bring in my aluminum. And then here's a little paprika. Little smoked paprika. And we're just going to add that right on there. Just like that. Normally I would just pinch it with my fingers, but I'm keeping them clean for you guys right now. Alright, so I'm going to close my husk up like this. Just moving forward. And once you got the husk all the way, move forward and down like that. Just push it all the way down. Now this is going to keep the corn nice and moist while it's cooking. And then here we go. I'm going to wrap it with my foil. Just the top of it, just like that. And there it is. So I'm going to put these off to the side and just repeat. Alright, we're going to meet you guys back here in just a little bit, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, pressure cooker has stopped, our turkey wings are out, and now we're rolling on to a beautiful stuffing. Show you how to do it. This is our stock that we created from the turkey wings. And this is going to do a lot of things today, including our rice. So the first thing we're doing with this stock is we're creating a stuffing. So we got our vegetables here, bell peppers, purple onions, some carrots, celery. We've got garlic, sage, sausage. These are homemade sausages. Those are sage sausage. We made those ourselves. We'll leave a link in the description. If you guys want to see sausages being made, we'll leave that link there. It'll show how to make sausages. We've got a loaf of bread here. Now this bread is a couple of days old. We're going to just use it for stuffing. So we're just going to cut it up. As you can see, it's a couple of days old. It's nice and crummy. And that's the way you want that. So we're going to take this. I'm just going to break it up and put it in the bowl like that. It's a real rustic stuffing. So if you have any stale bread laying around the house, this is a good way how to get it used up. You know, it drives me nuts. I go to the supermarket and these guys throw out all this bread every night, or I go to bakeries and I see that they're throwing the bread out and they're not giving it away to people. They just throw it in the dumpster, and when I see it back there, it drives me nuts. I won't support that business. Alright, I'm just going to rip this up. Look how much stuffing this makes. It doesn't look like it, but I put it in the bowl just so you guys can get a good idea of what this looks like. This is also going to determine what you're working with, because you want to know how much stuffing to make, right? Compared to all the ingredients that you have here. So you don't want to cut a bunch of ingredients and then you got a little bit of bread and you got a vegetable stuffing. And that wouldn't be cool. All right, so now I'm going to judge it out. See the sausage I cut up there? I need to know if I should cut up more or that sausage is going to do. So looking at it, I might be right on point with that sausage. But I can always cut a little bit more up just to be on the safe side, because hey, this is a meat channel, right? So it can't go wrong with too much meat, ever. All right, so there we go. See how much stuffing this makes? So we made that broth over there, and we're gonna wet this bread with the broth when we get back here off the stove. So we're gonna fry up that sausage, cook down some of these onions and peppers, and then we're gonna come back and put this together and show you how to get it done. But that's how you want that ripped up, just like that. Like you were feeding the birds. And there it is. So that's how to use your bread. We'll meet you on the stove. Don't go anywhere. All right, we started our sausage off in the pan. I got some garlic and sage going in next. And I'm gonna cool this pan down with some mushrooms. Here we go. And let's just give this pan a little shake here. That's how you want to do that. You want to bring out some flavor. Get the water out of those mushrooms. And scrape the bottom. So now you got that cooking down. We're going to let that flavor take hold. Now I'm going to go in with some peppers, carrot, celery, onions. Watching my ratios. I like peppers inside my stuffing, so feel free to make it yours. Just put whatever you like in there. I'm going to go about there, and I like the abundance of pepper in there. So I'm going to put more peppers. And just feel it out. So once that stuffing kind of cooks down, you want it to be able to hold all that without going overboard. So you don't want too many vegetables. There you have it. So we're going to cook this down, and we're going to meet you guys right back here. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so now that we have our stuffing mixed together, here's our bread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle that with some nice thyme. Just get it all in the bread. I like fresh thyme. I don't cook it in. Now we're going to go in with that beautiful mixture. And now that's looking right. So you're not going to go in with any wet yet. And here we go. We're just going to mix it up. So you got to go in with the wet at the end, after the bread absorbs most everything you put in here, because you want to make sure it disperses evenly throughout. And if you wet the bread, you're not going to move everything around in it so easy. Now that you got it like that, now we're going to go in with some of this liquid. So here's that nice turkey broth. And little by little, you're going to spoon in. Now at this point, if you want to add any butter, you could. I'm not using any butter in here because it's got all that nice flavor from the sausage. And you're just going to feel out the consistency of it. See how wet or dry you like it. See, I don't wet it too much because then it's got to go through this whole baking process, and you're not going to come out with a nice light fluffy stuffing. In this case, it's almost like a dressing. If we broke up some cornbread and put it in here, you'd have a beautiful sausage dressing. But we're going straight bread today because it's not Thanksgiving. All right, there we go. And I might even wet it a hair more. And it's got all those nice onions in there. I think that's about it. Now you got yourself a beautiful stuffing. Try to take a couple of those big dry pieces and leave them on the top because they'll act as kind of crunchies. All right, so now we're going to bring in a skillet, nice cast iron. And I'm going to get everything right into the cast iron. See how it's not packed down? That means you'll get a nice light airy stuffing. And it's not going to be dense. It'll take forever to cook. But sometimes you wet it too much. This thing will take 2 hours just to get to dry it out again. Alright, so there we have it. Just going to move this around a bit. I'm going to get some height on this so this way the edges cook properly and it looks great. So just get the height on it. See those big pieces up at the top? And just leave it like that. And now if you want, we can finish off with a little extra virgin olive oil on the top there. Just to give it that nice crispy atmosphere there. There it is. Alright, so we're going in the oven with this. We're taking the corn with us. $425 degrees. Put our corn on the bottom, and we'll meet you back here. Don't go anywhere. All right, a great turkey dish, especially turkey and gravy, it needs something to go along with it. That dish is rice. We're showing you a beautiful rice using that broth. Let's show you how to get this done. So I have 2 cups of rice here. This is jasmine rice, and I use the rest of the green bell peppers that we have in here. I just put them on top. So now we need to toast this rice up. I'm going to start with a little salt. Just a pinch or 2. And here's that broth again. We keep coming back to that broth, right? So the oil separated on the top of this broth. And now we're going to take a ladle and we're just going to pull the oil, just the oil, right off the top of there. Just like that. I'm going to just run around. Now this is a time where people usually pull this out of here and they discard of it. We're not doing that today. So we got the oil and we're going into the rice. And why are we doing that? We're going to toast this rice up using that oil. Nothing goes to waste. And you're using turkey fat. So why not flavor the oil with some beautiful turkey fat? Get the rest of that. And then we're going to meet you guys onto the stove and show you how to get this nice and toasted up, cooked up. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we are toasting up our rice. Now I'm showing you 2 things right now. I'm showing you how to make a gravy. Again, back to that stock again, or broth. So we're going to show you how to make a gravy using those mushrooms. But first, we're toasting up this rice. Now watch this. Back to the stock again. It's on the stove nice and hot. So we're cooking with this little by little. And there we go. So we toasted the rice, now we gotta make the rice. So I'm just gonna get everything up off the bottom of this rice. There you go. It's a lot of flavor packed in here. So there we go. It's looking right. Now I'm going to add some more stock. And I'm going to go little by little with this. And just cook the rice until it's done. Now I'm not sure how much stock we're going to use, so I'm just going to go little by little. So there we go. I'll bring my flame back a little bit, and I'm going to add some more. And I'm going to fill it up till it covers a good portion of the rice. There it is. Now I'm just going to let this rice cook down, and then I'm going to put the lid on it. All right, and while we're doing that, it's time to make our gravy. So using that stock again, back to the stock again, I'm going in with those mushrooms that we had. So I'm going to cook these mushrooms down on the stove. And then I'm going to show you how to make the gravy. And we're going to dump that over our turkey wings, which the turkey wings are on a warmer right now. And they're staying warm. So we can put this gravy right over top of them. All right, we're going to come back here and put all this together and show you what to do. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, it is time to pull this. Now this is how I like my stuffing. I like that nice little burnt edge on top. That's why we put the bigger pieces on top. Look at that. Gorgeous. Let's pull this corn. That's how your corn's gonna come out. And we'll meet you back here. Don't go anywhere. All right, time to make our gravy. So right here I have 2 cups of flour. And I'm gonna start by putting some flour into a glass bowl. If you guys are new to the channel, have never seen me make gravy before, this is a very good way of making gravy. All right, so I got that there. Olive oil. That's extra virgin, a good one. This is soy sauce. I'm gonna add just a touch for that umami flavor. That means meaty. I'm gonna add a little bit more flour. Now 2 cups will make a lot of gravy. And the reason why we're making it like this is by the time you get on the stove and make a roux, this is much better, much faster. And it's basically lump free. So here we go. Now I know with the amount of liquid that I have in there, I'm gonna need a little bit more, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more flour to here. Just like that. And add some more olive oil. And get it stirred in. That's it. That simple, that easy. I'm gonna finish mixing this up. And I'm gonna meet you on the stove and show you how to finish the rest of that gravy over there with those mushrooms going. Stick around, don't go anywhere. First thing you want to do is taste and see what you're working with. So here's our mushrooms. And again, this is the same exact broth. I just put mushrooms in it. And now we're going to give this a shot. Now I feel I could use some more pepper. So I'm going to go in with a little black peppercorn. I like the big peppers. And I definitely need some more salt. So I'm going in with a good portion of that salt. Because I feel a good gravy needs to be a touch on the salty side, right? So I'm going to just stir that in. Now this is about on a number 3 heat right now. So it's pretty low. You don't want an aggressive boil. All right, now that we got that, let's just give that a shot again. We're spot on. All right, so now we're going in with our gravy. That's the consistency you want right there. Almost like a peanut butter. I'm going to mix that in. And I do have a whisk, which we'll bring in a second. But I'm going to get in a lot of that right in there, right off the bat. Now once I have that, I'm going to go in with our whisk. I'm going to just start to break that up. Now this is a good way to see where your thickness is at this point, because if you put clumps in here, it's going to go down to the bottom, and if you don't stir it, you're going to be making dumplings. They'll sit down at the bottom and they'll go to dumpling on you, and that's what you don't want. So just little by little, and you see how it's coming along? I'm going to keep stirring this for about 4 minutes before I even add any more. Because right now, look how thick that is. It's pretty thick right now. If I jump the ladle back in, look at that. We're pretty much at where we want our gravy to be. So I'm going to just cook off the flour, which you want to do. Worst thing in the world you want to do is taste raw flour. It's going to evaporate. A lot of the steam's going to come off of it, and your gravy should tighten up. And that's what you're looking for. All right, we're going to finish this gravy up, and we're going to meet you back here and put the entire meal together. And we're going to eat for you guys. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are, season 6's chopping block. Turkey wings and gravy. Let's show you what we got. Take a look at that. Beautiful. I'm just going to spin this around so you guys can see it. And then we're going to get them off to the side. I'm going to bring in a plate. And take a look at our spread. So here's that gorgeous gravy with amazing rice. That rice came out spot on. And then we have that very handsome stuffing. It's a good looking stuffing. All right, let's get into it. Now this is how you want your rice to come out. See how fluffy that is? So we'll get a good amount of that rice there. And that turkey oil in there, it worked well. I'm going to get a little height on that. All right, so we got that. And then we're going to park some turkey on there. So I'm going to grab a couple of pieces of turkey here. And I think I'm going to grab the drumstick from here. This way I have no problem eating. And I'll park it there. All right, now we're going to get our corn onto the plate. So take a look at this corn. So this is how you get into that. You would pull the cap off. Discard of the cap. And I'm just going to bring it back like that. Bring back all of the husk. And what we'll do is just get that right onto the plate. Tuck in. And there we have it on that end. Actually, I think I'm going to park it down to the other end, next to the rice. There we go. We'll park it like that. And get the hair out of his face. There we go, and now it's time to clean up a little bit. So we're going to get this plate cleaned up. And now I'm going to drop some stuffing onto this plate. So I'm going to use that corner right over there and drop our stuffing. Take a look at this stuffing. Let's just get into it. See, that's how I like my stuffing. Now there's a big difference between stuffing and dressing because there's no cornbread in there. If you put cornbread in there, that would be a dressing, which a lot of people do not know the difference. All right, so let's just get some of that homemade stuffing there. That's why I say, save your bread. If you guys are throwing out your bread, take a look at this. I don't think you'll do that again. All right, and that is a hungry man plate right there. And last, you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna organize this plate. We're coming up with some gravy. So I'm gonna spin around and get some of that nice gravy on there. All those mushrooms in there. There it is. You cannot go wrong with this one. And there it is. Smother it right in there. Now we're gonna clean this one up again. And there it is. Just like that. I think I'll just leave it on that angle because you guys got a great angle there. Now this is the garnish that we're using today. You know what this is? This is from the carrots. You know all the carrots that were sitting on the table that you guys saw back? So the long part of the carrot from the baby carrot, and that's what's inside the stuffing is baby carrot. So I'm just gonna rip off a piece of this garnish, and that's what I used in the rice as well too. And you can take this just like this, and you can rip this off. And watch how beautifully this presents on things. Look at that. So bang, there it is. Brings that stuffing out. 10 folds, right? And now I'm going to use some of this for the plate. Rip off a piece of that and get that right in the middle of the plate. And there it is. You got a beautiful, spectacular looking garnish from carrots, right? Who would think? And you can even put the lighter one, drop that onto the rice like that. And now you got a gorgeous plate. Let's get into it. Let's try that turkey. So I park that leg on the end. Look at that, I don't even need a knife. So what I'll do is just take my fork and just get in there. Look at that, tender. I have done several things with turkey over the years. Grilled them, I smoked them, I've baked them. Nothing beats this. Hands down, by far, one of the most tenderest, flavorfulest ways to have turkey. And I love the turkey wings. The entire turkey, I love that too. But those turkey wings, they speak volume. All right, let's try that rice. Jasmine rice with the peppers in there, and the broth takes it over the top. Fantastic rice. Guys gotta try that. We used broth every step of the way, and it's powerful. Free stock, that's what we got today. Nothing out of a can or a jar. Amazing. Let's try that stuffing. If you compare a box stuffing to that stuffing, there is no comparison. That stuffing that we made today leaves the old stuffing right in the rearview mirror. Tremendous amount of flavor in there. Packs a punch. If you guys are throwing away your bread and you're not using that broth correctly, it was another way we used our broth, try it that way. I think you'll be quite satisfied. All right, let's try that corn. That is an excellent way to have corn. You can taste every single ingredient we put in there. Roasted in the oven with the husk on, can't beat that one. Guys, got to try that. I think you'll be quite impressed. All right, we're gonna get organized. We're gonna meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. And there it is, one outrageous way to make turkey wings. I definitely hope you try this one. And we serve that up with some homemade stuffing, sausage stuffing, using the same broth that we took from the turkey wings. We made a gravy for the turkey with the same broth. And we made rice with the same broth. I hope you guys try this one and don't ever throw away that broth or your bread. As always, we thank you guys. We enjoyed having you. And with no further ado, gotta get that last Pitmaster taste there.